Senator Rafferty, we are live.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 130th Maine State Legislature. My name is Joe Rafferty. I am the Senate Chair of the Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs. This morning, we are hosting public hearings of the Joint Committee for the purpose of considering the nomination by the governor for various appointments, beginning with the Baxter School, and then eventually we will get into some appointments to the State Boards of Education. So these are public hearings, and I'm just going to summarize that one time through. We have 6 confirmations this morning. So basically, under the law and joint rules of the legislation, the committee is required to hold this public hearing and to recommend confirmation or denial of the nominee by majority vote of the committee members present and voting. As chairs of the committee, we will follow this meeting up with a letter notifying the president of the Senate of the results of the committee's vote. We will hear testimony from and have an opportunity to question the governor's representative this morning, which will be Melissa O'Neill. The nominee will also have a chance to speak, and any other person present who wishes to speak for or against that nomination. The meeting is currently being live streamed on the committee's YouTube channel. This means that anyone who is a participant in the meeting via Zoom can be seen and also heard if their microphone is unmuted. People testifying cannot be seen or heard until they are called upon to speak. This meeting will be recorded and available to view on the committee's YouTube channel soon after the meeting has concluded. So I will open our first hearing. Our first hearing is a nomination by the governor of Jason Boubier. And I am going to recognize committee member Representative McCray for the purpose of making such nomination. Representative McCray?
Oh, thank you. I thought this was coming a little later.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the Joint Committee of Education and Cultural Affairs recommend confirmation of Jason A. Boubier, to the school board of the Maine Education Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf.
Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to recognize Melissa O'Neill for the purpose of making a statement concerning the nomination.
Thank you, Senator Rafferty, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Education, Cultural Affairs. My name is Melissa O'Neill Lowe, and I am the Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Janet Mills. I'm here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Jason Boubier, PhD of Ellsworth, as a member of the school board for the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School of the Deaf. The school board for the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf can be found in Maine Revised Statutes under Title 20-A, Chapter 304, Section 7406. The board was established as a policy-making authority and the governing body of the school. This board is made up of 17 members, including 4 parents of students who are deaf or hard of hearing, 3 deaf representatives of the state's deaf community, 8 members of the general public, at least 2 of whom must have expertise in deaf education, and 2 students. Dr. Jason Boubier of Ellsworth is being nominated to seat number 3, which is reserved for a parent of a student who is deaf and or hard of hearing. Dr. Boubier comes before you today as a parent of a 13-year-old deaf son. Since his son's diagnosis, he has immersed himself in the community, including CDS, Hear Me Now, and the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf hard of hearing to ensure that his son has had access to the best educational services possible. Dr. Boubier is a senior research scientist at Jackson Laboratories. He holds a BA in biology from the University of Maine at Farmington and received his doctorate in philosophy from Marquette University. As you've undoubtedly seen from his background materials, Dr. Boubier has an opportunity to bring his skill set, personal experiences, and passion in and around the hearing impaired that he will make an excellent trustee to the school board for the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing at the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. For these reasons outlined this morning, I would ask that you, on behalf of the governor, support the appointment of Dr. Jason A. Boubier of Ellsworth. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has this morning, and thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Do we have any questions, folks, of Ms. O'Neill at this time? Yes, Mr. Murphy.
This can come after any questions, but if I'm not mistaken, we do require a second on the motion made by Representative McCray.
I'll take that. My notes are contradictory to that, but that's okay.
Would second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Dodge. Any questions for Ms. O'Neill?
Thank you.
Seeing none, thank you very much, Ms. O'Neill. At this time, then, I would call upon Mr. Boubier for the purpose of making a statement concerning his nomination.
Good morning, Senator Rafferty and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee of Education and Cultural Affairs. My name is Jason Boubier from Ellsworth, Maine, and I am here today to discuss my nomination to the board of MECDHH in the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. I am not a Maine native. However, my parents came from the Western Maine mountains and moved to Connecticut in the 1960s looking for work. They retired to Maine in 1994 when I graduated high school, and I went to the University of Maine at Farmington, completing the biology program in 3 years. I then attended graduate school at Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, earning my PhD in biological sciences. I returned to Maine to start my postdoctoral training at the Jackson Laboratory in Bar Harbor and was promoted to research scientist upon completion. I've moved up the ranks of associate research scientist to senior research scientist in my 17 years there, and am currently running an NIH-funded research program. Running this program has given me a great deal of experience working within budget constraints to accomplish the most work and the importance of being a good steward of public resources. As a wintertime side gig, I work as a senior tax analyst at H&R Block, where I help over 200 customers a year file their often complex tax returns. This work with numbers is a fun diversion during the dark Maine winters. This financial experience, together with my biological knowledge, will be an asset to the board during overseeing the financials of MECDHH during a global pandemic. My experience as a parent and advocate of a deaf child, of course, will be the most valuable asset to the board and is a requirement of the position. My 13-year-old son, Gavin, is deaf with bilateral cochlear implants. I've learned a great deal about the deaf community, its history, its culture during this time. This was all new to me as a hearing person. I have worked with the social services and nonprofits in Maine from the time of my son's diagnosis to present, including CDS, Hear Me Now, and the MECDHH to ensure that my son has the best educational services and access possible. We have attended many Hands and Voices events through the year. My families and I received home ASL classes from the time that my son was 1 through preschool, and have had a teacher of the deaf and ASL interpreter assigned to his IEP since he started preschool. I am proud to support the programming offered by MECDHH, and I look forward to playing a role in its future evolution. Thank you for this honor.
Thank you very much. Any questions, folks, of Mr. Boubier at this time? Seeing none, and to the best of my knowledge, we don't have any additional testimony. I saw none signed up from the public. Eli, is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you very much. So with that said, there is opportunity for the public to join and make a statement. They can send in written information as well. But seeing no one here today, then I will begin to conclude the hearing, having heard from testimony from Ms. O'Neill representing the governor, as well as the Mr. Boubier himself. I would like to close the hearing of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs. And at this time, I call that closed. Now, normally, voting has to take place within 35 days or a certain amount of time frame. We can make a vote at this time if all members of the committee are in agreement. Is there anyone opposed to voting for the confirmation at this time? Seeing no hands to the answering or responding to that, I'm going to move forward with the vote for Mr. Boubier's nomination. So the pending question before the committee is that the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine State Legislature the nomination of Mr. Jason A. Boubier of Ellsworth for appointment to the school board of the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf be confirmed. I will remind folks that a vote of yes will be in favor of recommending the confirmation. A vote of no will be against the nomination. And is the committee currently ready for a vote? And several heads nodding yes. I will ask Mr. Murphy, please, if you would be kind enough to call the roll.
On the confirmation of Jason A. Boubier, Senator Rafferty.
Yes.
Senator Rafferty votes yes. Senator Daughtry. Senator Daughtry is absent. Senator Woodsum.
Yes.
Senator Woodsum votes yes. Representative Brennan. Representative Brennan is absent. Representative Crockett.
Yes.
Representative Crockett votes yes. Representative Dodge.
Gratefully, yay.
Representative Dodge votes yay. Representative Lyman.
Yes.
Representative Lyman votes yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray votes yes. Representative Millette. Representative Millette votes yes. Representative Roach.
Yes.
Representative Roach votes yes. Representative Salisbury.
I vote yes. And just to clarify, Representative Millette is not here.
I believe I indicated Representative Millette is absent. Oh, my apologies. Representative Millette is absent. I wrote down that
Okay, no
Representative
problem.
Millette is absent. Thank you. Representative Salisbury votes yes. Representative Sampson.
Yes.
Representative Sampson votes yes. Representative Stearns.
Yes.
Representative Stearns votes yes. On a vote of 10 yes and 3 absent, Senator.
Thank you. The committee, seeing that the committee has voted in favor of Mr. Boubier's nomination and appointment to the school board for the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf be confirmed on a vote of 10 yes, none against, 3 absent. Congratulations, Mr. Boubier, and thanks for your willingness and to do so. So, congratulations.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. I will call that hearing to a close at this time. And prior to, and in my haste, I did not allow for my fellow committee members to even take a moment to introduce themselves this morning. I feel like we meet so often, one committee meeting just kind of, rolls into the next. But in any case, if we would be kind enough, and I'm going to just go off my screen as I've got my list buried here, and ask that committee members take a moment just to introduce themselves, starting with Representative Dodge, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Jan Dodge. I represent House District 97, which includes Belfast, Northport, and Waldo. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. And Senator Woodson, please.
Good morning, Dave Woodson, District 33 in York County.
Thank you, sir. Representative McCray?
Yes, good morning, folks. I'm Dave McCray, up in the county representing the good people of House District 148. Good morning.
Thank you. Representative Lyman?
Good morning, Sheila Lyman, District 74, which is J, Livermore Falls, and part of Livermore. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Sampson?
Good morning. I'm Heidi Sampson, representing the good people of House District 21. That's Alfred, Limerick, Shapley, Newfield, and Parsonsfield.
Thank you. Representative Stearns?
Good morning. My name is Paul Stearns. I represent House District 119, which is located in Piscataquis County.
Thank you. Representative Roach?
Good morning, Tim Roach, District 7 Wells.
Thank you. Representative Salisbury?
Good morning. I'm Sue Salisbury and I represent House District 35, which is part of Westbrook. I am experiencing some internet issues, so I'm going to leave for just a minute, but I'll be right back.
Thank you. And Representative Crockett?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everyone. Ed Crockett, District 43, which is part of Portland and part of Falmouth. And I do want to add that I've spent a lot of time running around the 1.5-mile loop on Baxter Island here in Falmouth, and look forward to many more of those runs.
Thank you, sir. We hope you do get in many more of those runs. Folks, I'd like to open the next hearing, and again, this hearing will continue with the main Ed Center and the back for the deaf and the hard of hearing, as well as the Baxter School for the Deaf. This next public hearing is nomination by the governor is of Mr. Thomas W. Minch of Lewiston. Mr. Lynch is actually for reappointment to the school board at the center. And at this time, I would ask for a motion by Representative McCray for the purpose of making the nomination of Mr. Minch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the Joint Committee of Education and Cultural Affairs recommend confirmation of Mr. Thomas W. Minch of Lewiston for reappointment to the school board of the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School of Deaf for the Deaf.
Thank you, sir, for doing so. At this time, I would like to recognize Melissa O'Neill from the governor's office for the purpose of making a statement concerning this nomination.
And Ms. O'Neill-Lowe, this is the interpreter. Would you just slow your pace just a tiny bit, or maybe just pause in between sentences? Thank you.
Okay. Yes, my apologies. Thank you, Senator Rafferty and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs. My name is Melissa O'Neill-Lowe, and I am the Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Janet Mills. I am here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the reappointment of Thomas Minch of Lewiston as a member of the school board for the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing in the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. If it pleases the committee, I would like to skip over the statutory requirement as it was read in the first piece of testimony. Thomas W. Minch of Lewiston is being nominated for reappointment to seat number 16, which is reserved for a member of the general public. Mr. Minch has served as a trustee on the school board for the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf since 2020. He is certified in American Sign Language and is employed by Disabilities Rights Maine as an advocate for deaf services. He's worked for the New England Homes for the Deaf as an outreach coordinator and is a member of the New Hampshire Association of the Deaf, where he served as president for 4 terms. He is a member of the Maine Association of the Deaf and served in roles such as parliamentarian and co-president. Mr. Minch attended, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Gallaudet University and Rochester Institute of Technology. As witnessed by Mr. Minch's service to the deaf population here in Maine, his commitment is strong and his continued services on this board are needed. It is because of these reasons that on behalf of the governor, I would ask that you support the reappointment of Thomas Minch of Lewiston to the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody may have at this time, and thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Ms. O'Neill. Any questions, folks? Seeing none, thank you very much. I would like to ask Mr. Minch if he would like to make a statement concerning his nomination. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Yes. Thank you all. Senator Rafferty, Representative Michael Brennan, members of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs. My name is Thomas W. Minch from Lewiston, and I am here today to discuss with you my nomination to the school board of the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. I am currently vice chair for the school board. I come from a deaf family. I bring extensive knowledge of American Sign Language and deaf culture to the school board. This is my reappointment to the school board. And we have been making strides within the school. We have hired a new executive director. We have restructured our mission, vision, and values. And I look forward to continuing my work with the school board and working with the staff and students to ensure their success is being met. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Does anyone in the committee have any questions of Mr. Minch at this time? Seeing none, again, thank you very much, sir. I know that we have no one outside of the panel at the current time in terms of attending, but opportunity has been made for public input. Seeing that there is no additional public comment, we will proceed. So I will actually, we'll have a vote shortly, but the public hearing by the Joint Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs for Mr. Minch of Lewiston for reappointment to the will be closed at this time. And again, I just remind the committee that normally we have up to 35 days to make our vote known, but with no objections, I would like to move that we call the vote at this time. Is there anyone opposed to voting at this time? Seeing no opposition, I would ask that we'll have our committee clerk in a moment call for the nomination of Mr. Minch. And if you would be kind enough, Mr. Murphy, to call the roll. Reminder that a vote of yes will be in favor of recommending, a vote of no will be against the nomination, and assuming that the committee is ready to vote. Eli, if you would, sir.
In the confirmation of Thomas Minch, Senator Rafferty.
Yes.
Senator Rafferty votes yes. Senator Daughtry. Senator Daughtry is absent. Senator Woodsum.
Yes.
Senator Woodsum votes yes. Representative Brennan. Representative Brennan is absent. Representative Crockett.
Yes.
Representative Crockett votes yes. Representative Crockett, I'm not sure that I see you on my, oh, I apologize. You are there. Yes. Representative Dodge.
Gratefully, yay.
Representative Dodge votes yay. Representative Lyman.
Yes.
Representative Lyman votes yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray votes yes. Representative Millette. Representative Millette is absent. Representative Roach.
Yes.
Representative Roach votes yes. Representative Salisbury.
Yes.
Representative Salisbury votes yes. Representative Sampson.
Yes.
Representative Sampson votes yes. Representative Stearns.
Yes.
Representative Stearns votes yes. There's 10 yes votes and 3 absent.
Thank you very much, Mr. Murphy. Seeing that 10 members of the committee having voted in the affirmative, none in the negative, it is a vote of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs that the nomination of Mr. Thomas W. Minch of Lewiston for reappointment to the School Board of the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf be confirmed. Thank you very much, sir, and congratulations. It's awesome that you are.
Yes, thank all of you as well. Thank you for your time and thank you for the reappointment. Thank you.
And good luck with this moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. And committee members, thank you. We're going to move into our third hearing relative to the Baxter School. And our next public hearing that I will open is for the purpose of considering the nomination by the governor of Ms. Elizabeth A. Seal of Lisbon Falls for the reappointment to the School Board of the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. This is another reappointment, which is nice to see. At this time, I would like to recognize Representative McCray for making a motion for the nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the Joint Committee of Education and Cultural Affairs recommend confirmation of Ms. Elizabeth A. Seal of Lisbon Falls for reappointment to the School Board of the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Representative Crockett. Appreciate that. So at this point, I would like to recognize Melissa O'Neill. She is speaking for the governor as her representative for the purpose of making a statement concerning this nomination.
Thank you, Senator Rafferty, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs. My name is Melissa O'Neill Lowe, and I am the Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Janet Mills. Oops. I am here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the reappointment of Elizabeth Seal of Lisbon Falls as a member of the school board for the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. Elizabeth A. Seal of Lisbon Falls is being nominated for reappointment to seat number 1, which is reserved for a parent of a student who is deaf or hard of hearing and is enrolled in a residential program. Ms. Seal has spent her career helping developmentally disabled individuals and supporting the deaf community. She graduated from Southern Maine Community College with her associate's degree in early childhood education, while also acting as a teacher's assistant and day residential educator with the Texas School for the Deaf. She continued furthering her education and in 2014 received a bachelor's degree in linguistics with a minor in deaf studies. From then, Ms. Seal has focused on helping disabled individuals through her work with Lutheran Social Services and Group Main Street, where she worked as a direct support professional. In 2014, she became a teacher at the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, and in 2017 began working with Maine Hands and Voices as a deaf/hard of hearing team leader. In her personal life, Ms. Seal is a parent of a deaf child and wants to ensure that they and other students have a successful education at this school. It is for these reasons outlined here this morning that on behalf of the governor, I would ask that you support the reappointment of Elizabeth A. Seal of Lisbon Falls to the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. I'd be happy to answer any questions that any of you may have at this time. And thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you. Folks, do we have any questions, please, of Ms. O'Neill Lowe at this time? Seeing none, thank you very much. I would like to offer Ms. Elizabeth Seal opportunity to make a statement relative to her nomination. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Hello, Senator Rafferty, and as well the entire committee. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Elizabeth Seal, and I am a deaf individual. I was a student of the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, and I now currently have 4 deaf children. 3 of them are currently MAC DHH students, and one of them next year, the 4th, will be a student of the program as well. And so I am very excited for this reappointment opportunity to the school board. I'm looking forward to continuing the commitment to our students' education and to other deaf students around the state. So thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Folks, do we have any questions of Ms. Seal at this time? Seeing none, and again, just reminding folks that there was and is opportunity for public input. We do not have anyone joining us at this time for any questions relative to the nomination, so I'm going to continue to move forward with such. In that we haven't heard any comments, the hearing by the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs of Ms. Elizabeth A. Seal of Lisbon Falls for the reappointment to the school board of the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School of the Deaf is closed. A vote normally has to be done within 35 days, no sooner than 15 minutes at the conclusion of the hearing, with the only exception being an agreement by the committee. So I would ask the committee, is there any opposition to us moving forward with today's vote? And I see Ms. Seal has a helper with her. Seeing no opposition, I would like to move forward. Please, I will ask that the committee recognize and respond to the pending question before us that the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine Legislature the nomination of Ms. Elizabeth A. Seal of Lisbon Falls for reappointment to the school board of the Maine Education Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf be confirmed. A vote of yes will be in favor of the confirmation. A vote of no will be against the motion to recommend. And is the committee ready to vote? I see several heads nodding. If I would ask that Mr. Murphy would be kind enough, please, to call the roll.
On the confirmation of Elizabeth Seal, Senator Rafferty.
Yes.
Senator Rafferty votes yes. Senator Daughtry. Senator Daughtry is absent. Senator Woodsum.
Yes.
Senator Woodsum votes yes. Representative Brennan. Representative Brennan is absent. Representative Crockett.
Yes.
Representative Crockett votes yes. Representative Dodge.
Gratefully, yay.
Representative Dodge votes yay. Representative Lyman.
Yes.
Representative Lyman votes yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray votes yes. Representative Millette. Representative Millette is absent. Representative Roach.
Yes.
Representative Roach votes yes. Representative Salisbury.
Yes.
Representative Salisbury votes yes. Representative Sampson.
Yes.
Representative Sampson votes yes. Representative Stearns.
Yes.
Representative Stearns votes yes. 10 votes yes, 3 absent.
Thank you very much. So with 10 members of the committee having voted in the affirmative and none in the negative, it is the vote of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs that the nomination of Ms. Elizabeth A. Seal of Lisbon Falls for the reappointment to the school board of the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf be confirmed. Congratulations, Ms. Seal. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Senator Rafferty, I believe that the interpreting services are no longer needed. Am I correct?
You are correct. You're certainly welcome to stay and listen to further nominations. And we have the school board, state school board, I believe, coming up next. But thank you very much for your help, folks. Appreciate
I think
you being here.
we do still have our attendees still on, so I think we'll stay and continue until they exit the Zoom room.
Fine. Thank you very much. Folks, we have 3 hearings left this morning, and each of these is for appointment to the State Board of Education. So I will open the first hearing, this public hearing of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs for the purpose of considering the nomination by the governor for Mr. Thomas Earl Keller of Newcastle for the appointment to the State Board of Education. This nomination will require there be an affirmative motion and recommendation for confirmation by our committee. And at this point, I ask, I call upon Representative McCray, please, to make the nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the Joint Committee of Education and Cultural Affairs recommend confirmation of Thomas Earl Keller of Newcastle for appointment to the State Board of Education.
Thank you very much, sir. And at this time, I would like to call upon Melissa O'Neill Lowe. She is speaking on behalf of Governor Mills for the purpose of making a statement concerning this nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Rafferty and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs. My name is Melissa O'Neill Lowe, and I am the Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Janet T. Mills. I'm here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Thomas E. Keller, Ed D. of Newcastle, as a member of the Maine State Board of Education. Maine State Board of Education can be found in Maine Revised Statutes under Title 20-A, Chapter 5, Section 401. The board consists of 9 voting members and 2 non-voting student members. 4 of these members must reside in the state's 1st congressional district, and 4 others reside in the state's 2nd congressional district, all appointed by the governor. Thomas E. Keller, Ed D. of Newcastle is being nominated to seat number 6, which is reserved for a member from the 1st congressional district. As you likely read in Dr. Keller's background materials, he's coming to you today as a retired educator and has been a classroom teacher, a school administrator, a scientist, and educational researcher. He's worked in education policy and is the founding president of STEM Education Strategies, LLC, an organization in which he works collaboratively with educators and institutions to streamline the system of science education. He believes that there is value in interconnecting various sectors of education, that good assessment facilitates good instruction, that teacher competencies breed confidence, and that policies must support high quality learning. Dr. Keller has served as the executive director of the Maine STEM Council. He is a member of the University of Maine at Augusta's Board of Visitors, as well as participation in many other educationally formulated organizations, too long to list here this morning. Dr. Keller holds a BS in zoology from Texas A&M University and his Ed D from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. It is for these reasons and many more that on behalf of the governor, I would ask that you support the nomination of Dr. Thomas Keller of Newcastle to the Maine State Board of Education. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has at this time. And again, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Ms. O'Neill Lowe. Folks, do we have any committee members with questions at this time? Seeing none, I am going to call upon Mr. Thomas Earl Keller for the purpose of making a statement concerning his nomination. Good morning.
Senator Rafferty and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs, good morning. My name is Tom Keller. I live in Newcastle, which is a bedroom community to Damascotta, and I'm honored to be nominated for a seat on the State Board of Education. I've been an active participant in the system of education in Maine for many years as a student, teacher, school administrator, and state science specialist for the Maine Department of Education. I've worked at the national level as a senior program officer with the Board on Science Education at the National Academy of Sciences and served as president of the National Council of State Science Supervisors. In addition, I've researched, written about, and advocated for many educational innovations. My doctoral dissertation was conducted in Maine, where I examined student performance in high school chemistry as a predictor of success in college chemistry. While my background is solidly in science and STEM education, I recognize the importance of a well-rounded education for all Maine students. I'm a strong proponent of the guiding principles in the Maine learning results, as well as the individual content standards. These standards describe what students should know and be able to do, but at the same time, they do not dictate how students are to experience them. Educators with proper and continuous preparation in teaching and in the content of their fields create learning experiences for their students and are truly the miracle makers. If confirmed, I look forward to collaborating with other state board members, particularly on issues in teacher certification and career and technical education. Pre-service education shapes the next generation of teachers, and it is through Maine's teacher certification requirements that important basic standards are set. Career and technical ed is beginning to get the attention it deserves. The type of learning employed by CTE is more effective than traditional schooling for many students, and the training the students get in fields such as nursing, welding, and engineering helps them move into careers in areas of need in our state. I hope to be able to contribute my experience in these areas as the board supports effective education for all students of Maine. I would be pleased to address any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keller. I do have a question from Representative McRae.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Keller, it is so good to see you. It was a very pleasant surprise when I saw your name on the list. I do have a question, however. Looking at the last couple of years in public education, it's been tough in every subject matter, etc. Do you see it as having been any harder on the math and science and technology than other disciplines, or not? Thank you.
You know, Representative McCray, it has been a crazy difficult time for a teacher in any content area. Science and math and computer science that requires individual instruction as its core has suffered because of that. But I also think teachers have come to realize that maybe what they've done in the past hasn't been the most effective for all kids. And so the opportunity, actually Zoom has provided kind of an opportunity for teachers to have more one-on-one with students. And it's been kind of a blessing in disguise in some ways. Clearly, it has been a horrendous time as teachers have to create a remote lesson plan and a hybrid lesson plan and an in-person lesson plan and don't know one day to the next which they're going to do. So it's been tough in math and science without a doubt, but it's been tough in any subject across the curriculum.
Well, thank you very much. I was very interested in your reaction to the question. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. I have a question from Representative Dodge, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Keller, for your presentation this morning. My question of you is, could you share the most shaping experience that you had in your teacher preparation journey, please? Thank you.
Sure. For me, I did the non-traditional back route that many science teachers do, where they get a degree in science and then realize they can't find a job and move into education because there are usually teacher jobs available. So, I knew my science was strong. I took the required courses in pedagogy, but then I hit student teaching. And that for me was a pivotal learning experience that made an incredible impact on me. Fortunately, I had a wonderful supervising teacher. Interestingly enough, my university cooperating supervisor was not as valuable, but that student teaching experience was without a doubt one of the most important things, followed second most important as my first year teaching, when I realized that I knew nothing.
Thank you. Any additional questions, folks, at this time? Seeing none, Mr. Keller, thank you very much for answering those. And we'll proceed with the nomination. We have opportunity from the public to make comment, send questions. Having seen none, we're going to move forward, and I will actually call the committee meeting of Educational Cultural Affairs for the appointment of the hearing of Thomas Earl Keller of Newcastle for the appointment to the State Board of Education to be closed at this time. And as we have earlier, I'd like to move forward with the vote. Anyone opposed to doing so? Committee members? Seeing none, I would remind us that the pending question before the committee is that the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs recommend to the state of the 130th Maine State Legislature the nomination of Mr. Thomas Earl Keller of Newcastle for appointment to the State Board of Education for confirmation. And prior to doing so, just want to remind you that a vote of yes will be in favor of the recommending confirmation. A vote of no will be against the nomination, the motion to recommend. Is the committee ready for the question? Seeing several nods. I will ask that Mr. Murphy, if you would be kind enough, please, sir, to call the roll.
On the confirmation of Thomas Keller, Senator Rafferty.
Yes.
Senator Rafferty votes yes. Senator Daughtry. Senator Daughtry is absent. Senator Woodsum.
Yes.
Senator Woodsum votes yes. Representative Brennan. Representative Brennan is absent. Representative Crockett.
Yes.
Representative Crockett votes yes. Representative Dodge.
Gratefully, yay.
Representative Dodge votes yay. Representative Lyman.
Yes.
Representative Lyman votes yes. Representative McCray.
An enthusiastic yes.
Representative McCray votes yes. Representative Millette. Representative Millette is absent. Representative Roach.
Yes.
Representative Roach votes yes. Representative Salisbury.
Yes.
Representative Salisbury votes yes. Representative Sampson.
No.
Representative Sampson votes no. Representative Stearns.
Yes.
Representative Stearns votes yes. With 9 votes yes and 1 vote no. Yes.
Thank you very much, Eli, for doing that. Thank you, committee members. So it is happily, I find that the Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs, the nomination of Mr. Thomas Earl Keller of Newcastle for the appointment to the State Board of Education be confirmed. Thank you very much, Mr. Keller. We appreciate you volunteering for that position. Thank you for your work and good luck as you move forward.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate the committee's time and your service to the state as well.
Thank you, sir. Folks, we're gonna move along. We have, as I mentioned earlier, we have 2 more nominations to work with. So I will call this public hearing of the Joint Standing Committee on Educational and Cultural Affairs for the purpose of considering the nomination by the governor of Ms. Kristen K. Bishop of Madison for appointment to the State Board of Education. Pursuant to our rules, I am going to call upon Representative McCray, please, if you would be kind enough to make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the Joint Committee of Education and Cultural Affairs recommend confirmation of Kristen K. Bishop of Madison for appointment to the State Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second? Representative Dodge. So at this time, please, having that been seconded, I would call upon call upon the representative of the governor's office, Ms. Melissa O'Neill Lowe, for the purpose of making a statement concerning this nomination.
Thank you, Senator Rafferty and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs. My name is Melissa O'Neill Lowe, and I'm the Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Janet Mills. I'm here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Kristen Bishop of Madison as a member of the Maine State Board of Education. Kristen Bishop is being nominated for seat number 4, which is reserved for a member from the 2nd Congressional District. Ms. Bishop is no stranger to service on this board, as she has actually served on this board as a student member of the board from 2012 to 2014. Currently, Ms. Bishop is the Program and Outreach Coordinator for Civic Engagement at Colby College. I suspect that when you speak and meet with Ms. Bishop this morning, you will be taken aback by her youth, her infectious energy, and superior intellect. When we first interviewed Ms. Bishop for this position, I was enamored by her energy and her passion in and around education. Her discussions of the importance of CTE learning and of a population in public education that is sometimes believed to be underserved struck a chord with me, in which I was then confident that we had the right candidate for this seat sitting before us. Kristen holds a BA in Education and Government and Legal Studies from Bowdoin College and expects to earn her master's in Business Administration this coming summer from Thomas. I would ask that on behalf of Governor Mills that you support the nomination of Kristen Bishop of Madison to the Maine State Board of Education. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has at this time. And again, thank you for your time this morning.
And thank you. Folks, any members of the committee with questions at this time? Seeing none, I would, at this point, like to offer Kristen K. Bishop for the opportunity to speak regarding her nomination. Welcome. Congratulations with your nomination. And the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much. Senator Rafferty, Representative Brennan, and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs. My name is Kristen Bishop from Madison, and I'm honored to be here today to discuss with you my nomination to the Maine State Board of Education. The opportunity to serve on the Maine State Board of Education is deeply meaningful to me for so many reasons. As a high school student many years ago, I applied and was afforded the privilege of serving on the Maine State Board of Education as one of 2 student representatives. During my 2-year term on the board, I became deeply familiar with this role and the role that it plays in providing educational law and policy recommendations, and even initiated my own research to help support and further aid the board's work surrounding career and technical education. I feel that this previous experience on the board helps to support my qualifications for this position, offering me tremendous insight, firsthand knowledge of the important duties and responsibilities incumbent upon board members. I am both humbled and honored by my nomination to serve on the board today and the trust that Governor Mills has placed in my ability to carry out the duties of this role with honor and distinction. I hope that the generous support provided in letters submitted to the committee by 2 individuals familiar with my character, work ethic, and previous experiences, as well as genuine passion for education, offered further insight into how deeply meaningful this appointment is to me. I am also grateful to have had the opportunity to submit some background materials outlining my academic and professional experiences in public service and education, experiences that have offered me a well-rounded and informed perspective surrounding education across the state of Maine. My understanding of educational law, policy, and procedure is complemented by experiences I have been so fortunate to have working alongside, learning from, and listening to educators who invest so much of themselves and their hearts into transforming the lives of Maine students. From service at the local, state, and national levels of government to work with nonprofit organizations and in higher education, public service and student learning are matters that are near and dear to my heart, causes that I remain inspired to dedicate my life to. I would be honored to serve with the compassion, collaborative spirit, enthusiasm, and genuine heart that I know this role deserves on behalf of all Maine students and educators. Thank you for your time and consideration of my nomination. I look forward to answering any questions that you may have, and I thank you sincerely for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Bishop. Any questions of the committee? Yes, Representative Sampson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, I am excited. This is a young lady, folks, that I served with for 2 years when she, I think I was actually on the board when I was able to be part of the selection committee, and she was our top pick. And I'm telling you, this is a young lady that digs into things. She's a self-starter. She researches to the bedrock, and I am very excited to support her. And it's so great to see you, Kristen.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Dodge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Ms. Bishop. Thank you for your willingness to serve. I wonder if you could please answer a question. That question would be, what do you feel was the most important educational experience that you have had so far? And if there was a teacher connected with that experience, if you could perhaps just give a couple of details about your insight into the role that they played in that experience, please. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that question. I enjoyed that one greatly. I've been so fortunate to have many, I would say, life-changing and impactful moments in education as a student. And probably one of the most meaningful ones would have been in high school. I was very fortunate to have a number of educators that I think were driven by just a passion, by hearing from students about what they're passionate about and finding ways to align their teaching and practices to elevate students' dreams and passions and the goals that they have. And I think, I hope that a lot of folks on this call can relate to that moment of having an educator really believe in you and have those moments where you see your studies kind of come to life and align with the passions, skills, and goals that you may have. So I think for me, a lot of those moments were in high school. A lot were aligned to, personally for me, a lot of civics studies that I was fortunate to do, as well as language arts educators that I was very fortunate to have. And I think the approach that they took to teaching allowed me to feel as though the goals that I had could come to life and that I could align the skills and knowledge that I was so fortunate to gain from them as experts in the content area that they were teaching to equip me with the talents and skills I would need to execute that on my vision. And I think, as with any hallmark of a remarkable educator, you're working with students that have many different passions, skills, talents, and interests. And I feel that I was very fortunate to be in many classrooms where all students were able to have that experience, and the diversity of goals and opportunities that they wanted to pursue were encouraged and honored by the remarkable educators that we have. So those would be some of the most memorable experiences that I am very, very fortunate to have had.
Thank you, Ms. Bishop. Any additional questions, folks, at this time? Seeing none, and also recognizing that we've given the public opportunity for input. Have not received nor have anyone present speaking to the nomination at this time. So I will call the hearing of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs for Ms. Kristen Bishop of Madison for the appointment to the State Board of Education to be closed. I'd also ask the committee, is there any opposition to us moving forward with our vote at this time? Seeing none, I am going to move forward. So the pending question before the committee is that the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine State Legislature the nomination of Ms. Kristen K. Bishop of Madison for appointment to the State Board of Education be confirmed. The vote of yes will be in favor of the recommending confirmation. A vote of no will be against the motion to recommend. Is the committee ready for the question? I will ask, please, that our committee clerk, Mr. Murphy, if you'd be kind enough to call the roll, please.
On the confirmation of Kristen Bishop, Senator Rafferty.
Yes.
Senator Rafferty votes yes. Senator Daughtry. Senator Daughtry is absent. Senator Woodsum.
Yes.
Senator Woodsum votes yes. Representative Brennan. Representative Brennan is absent. Representative Crockett.
Yes, and keep up the great work.
Representative Crockett votes yes. Representative Dodge.
Gratefully, yay.
Representative Dodge votes yay. Representative Lyman.
Yes.
Representative Lyman votes yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray votes yes. Representative Millette. Representative Millette is absent. Representative Roach. Representative Roach is absent. Representative Salisbury.
Yes.
Representative Salisbury votes yes. Representative Sampson.
Enthusiastically, yes.
Representative Sampson votes yes. Representative Stearns.
Yes.
Representative Stearns votes yes. And Representative Roach.
Yes.
Representative Roach votes yes. The vote is 10 yes, 3 absent.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. And congratulations, Ms. Bishop. The Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs, having heard the vote, 10 for, 0 opposed. We are going to confirm the nomination for appointment to the State Board of Education at this time. Congratulations and good luck to you with this appointment and moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you, committee members. Have a good day. We have our final hearing, folks. So I will open the public hearing of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs for the purpose of considering the nomination by the governor of Mr. Mark Belfonte of Portland for the appointment to the State Board of Education. Pursuant to the statutes, that I would like to call upon Representative McCray for the purpose of making such a nomination, please, at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the Joint Standing Committee of Education and Cultural Affairs recommend confirmation of Mark Belfonte of Portland for appointment to the State Board of Education, and I thank you.
Thank you. And question, yes, Representative Crockett, I'm sorry.
Oh, no question. I was just going to second that motion.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the motion. Thank you for the second. And I would like to, at this time, recognize Ms. Melissa O'Neill Lowe as representative for the governor for the purpose of making a statement concerning the nomination.
Thank you, Senator Rafferty, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs. For the last time this morning, my name is Melissa O'Neill Lowe, and I am the Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Janet Mills. I'm here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Mark Belfonte, Esquire of Portland, as a member of the Maine State Board of Education. Attorney Belfonte is being nominated to seat number 8, which is reserved for a member from the 1st Congressional District. Attorney Belfonte is coming to you today as a Maine citizen who has served his local municipal school board, having served on the Portland School Board for 3 years. He is the Vice President, General Counsel, and Lending Compliance Officer at Kennebunk Savings Bank. As you've likely read, he has years of experience as an attorney, as well as background in financial investment. He understands policy and financing, in addition to comprehension of the Department of Education's goals and challenges, having had served at the local level. He holds a BS in Business Administration with a focus on finance and attended Temple University's Beasley School of Law. He has been a member of the Maine Bar Association since 2016. It is for these reasons and many more that this morning, on behalf of the governor, I would ask that you support the nomination of Mark V. Belfonte, Esquire of Portland, to the State Board of Education. Thank you for your time this morning. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have, and thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. O'Neill Lowe. Folks, do we have any questions of the committee members at this time? Seeing none, I would at this time recognize Mr. Belfonte for a purpose of making a statement relative to his nomination. Welcome, sir. I'm sorry, Mr. Murphy.
Senator Rafferty, I believe Representative Dodge had her hand up. I'm not sure if we are all set.
My apologies if I overlooked that. Thank you. Mr. Belfonte.
Great. Thank you, Senator Rafferty, members of the Education and Cultural Affairs Committee. My name is Mark Belfonte from Portland, and I'm here today to discuss with you my nomination to the Maine State Board of Education. I live in Portland with my wife and 2 young children who are in kindergarten and 2nd grade in the Portland Public Schools. And they are the two biggest reasons why I'm before you today. I have a vested interest in improving public schools. Another big reason that I'm here is my commitment to service. I served our nation in the United States Marine Corps active duty for 10 years, which included a tour in Iraq from 2007 to 2008. Ultimately, my wife and I wanted to put down roots, so I left military service and we settled here in Maine. But we didn't want to just live in Maine. We wanted to be active members of the community. We wanted to serve the community. My service has focused on education. I served Portland by running for, being elected to, and serving on the Portland School Board from 2017 to 2020, which included 3 years on the board's Finance Committee and Curriculum Committee. I chaired the Curriculum Committee as well. As I left my final year on the school board, I was elected by the members of a nonprofit, the Maine Association for the Education of Young Children, Maine IAC, to serve on its board. Maine IAC promotes high quality early learning for all children, birth through age 8 throughout Maine. I also chair Maine IAC's Organizational Advancement Committee. My experience on the Portland School Board and the board for Maine IAC includes working on budgets, policies, and even the transition to educating during a pandemic. I also have experience of working with other board members, staff, and constituents in the education field. In my professional life, I serve as Associate General Counsel and Lending Compliance Officer at a local bank. Obviously, I would not practice law on the State Board of Education, but I can bring my experience evaluating policies, regulations, and laws to the Board of Education. I think I would be a great addition to the Maine State Board of Education due to my vested interest and experience in public education. I ask for your approval to join the Maine State Board of Education.
Thank you, sir. I have a question from Representative Crockett, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Not so much a question. Hello, Mark.
Hello, sir.
I will say Portland has sadly missed your representation on its school board, but I am so pleased to see that you have resurfaced in this public way in front of us today, and best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you both. Any additional questions, folks? Yes, Representative Dodge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Balfons. Thank you for being here and thank you for volunteering to serve. My question to you is similar to the questions I posed to the other two candidates. Could you please just speak for a few moments about the most important educational experience that you have had that will shape your actions and considerations as you serve? Thank you.
Yeah, so when you ask that question, it makes me think of my work on the Portland School Board, and just seeing how sometimes we're not just educating ourselves, we have to help educate the other members on the board. For example, there was a particular math program that the Curriculum Committee that I chaired at the time was looking to use, and critical to that program was the use of coaches. It was essential. That's what the administration was saying. And after their explanation, it was like, okay, this is what we need. Fast forward to working on the budget, where members of the school board, can kind of miss the programmatic issues and focus more on the dollar amounts. And in that discussion, there were talks about eliminating the coaching, the money for the coaching. But I knew from my work on the committee that was essential for the program to be successful. And so during that meeting and discussing the budget, I gave the staff an opportunity to discuss and describe how essential these math coaches were. And that was, pretty eye-opening, because there were people who on the board who I think missed how critical it was. And so that's something that I would bring to this particular board, is that, hey, let's bring everybody along. Everybody may not be at the same place, but let's make sure everybody gets the same information and can think about it with all of the information.
Thank you, sir. Any additional questions, folks, at this time? Seeing none and understanding that we've allowed for input and opportunity for the public to address the nomination. But we do not have anyone testifying this morning. So I'm going to move forward. And that said, we will actually close the hearing by the Education and Cultural Affairs Committee for Mr. Bellefonte for the appointment to the State Board of Education at this time. Hopefully we'll move forward with the vote if there are no objections. Any objections at this time? Seeing none. The pending question before the committee is that that the Joint Standing Committee on Education and Cultural Affairs recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine Legislature the nomination of Mr. Mark Bellefonte of Portland for appointment to the State Board of Education be confirmed. A vote of yes will be in favor of recommending confirmation. A vote of no will be against the motion to recommend confirmation. Is the committee ready for the question? Appears as though we are. The committee clerk, please, Mr. Murphy, if we would be kind enough to call the roll.
The confirmation of Mark Bellefonte, Senator Rafferty.
Yes.
Senator Rafferty votes yes. Senator Daughtry. Senator Daughtry is absent. Senator Woodsum.
Yes.
Senator Woodsum votes yes. Representative Brennan. Representative Brennan is absent. Representative Crockett.
Yes.
Representative Crockett votes yes. Representative Dodge.
Gratefully, yay.
Representative Dodge votes yay. Representative Lyman.
Yes.
Representative Lyman votes yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray votes yes. Representative Millette. Representative Millette is absent. Representative Roach.
Yes.
Representative Roach votes yes. Representative Salisbury.
Yes.
Representative Salisbury votes yes. Representative Sampson. Representative Sampson is absent. Representative Stearns.
Yes.
Representative Stearns votes yes, with 9 votes yes and 4 absent.
So with 9 in the affirmative, none in opposition, the vote of the Joint Standing Committee on Educational and Cultural Affairs to the nomination of Mr. Bellefonte of Portland for the appointment of State Board of Education is confirmed. Sir, I would like to congratulate you this morning for your appointment. Thank you for your willingness to serve. And more importantly, also, not to be overlooked, thank you for the service of you to our country and your commitment to education in general with your past participation with the school board in Portland and so forth. It's nice to have active members of our community willing to do so. So thank you. Have a good day. Folks in the committee, I just, that is the final nomination that we will be working with today. I want to thank you, Ms. O'Neill Lowe, for your help this morning.
Thank you all so much. I'm sure we'll
And-
be seeing you again before the end of session.
Probably. Thank you.
I think so.
Just a reminder to committee members, we do have a hearing tomorrow morning at 9:30. That has, I believe we only have one public hearing this morning, but I'm looking that, yes, I believe that's the only, we have one tomorrow morning. And then Wednesday will be in Augusta. And then back to work and committee by Zoom on Thursday. So we'll have a busy week. Thank you for being together this morning, and your promptness is always helpful. Appreciate your help today. Have a good one.
Take care.